Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the MMA Wales podcast. It feels like ages since I've been your last, James. I mean,
you've been busy working 20 hours a week.
I know, it's like I feel like I've had a real job for a change.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time I sat around in my pants doing nothing. We've been out in Rome with the IMFs and then I had to MC graduation ceremonies where I burnt myself. You can see the little triangle there. But anyway, you've been doing a lot without me.
Yeah, we've been ploughing on.
I've been watching, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been alright. This week, though, you're going back out to the IMAFs?
Yeah, no, that was quite a mad one. I didn't expect to be going. I was booked to MC John's show on this Saturday, and I was booked to MC a show in Bradford on Sunday, and they forgot to tell me they needed me. So I had a letter saying what time did my flight an email saying what time my flight arrives. I was like, I didn't even know I was going. It's like, of course you're going. What is IMAF without Ricky Wright? So my ego swelled to another level when I had that in.
Yeah, there is another level.
So and that's a lot of ego, like. So I'm looking forward to going back to Rome. This time for the cadets, taking a team of officially 9 Welsh kids and 1 Polish lad. But they're all, part of they're all training in Wales. Yeah.
So is one lad from Poland representing Poland?
Yeah, officially he'll be representing Poland. But he's going to be with the Welsh lot and.
Where's he train?
Chris Wright's Academy.
Okay.
So we got. So it's 10 kids going out all together. We got some from a lot from Chris Wright's Academy. We got one from IPC Wrexham in North Wales. One lad from the Matt Academy and one from
MMA.
Newport MMA, and they're all killers. You've seen them.
Yeah, they were in my show last week on the day having a training session with Brett.
2 of them are way taller than me as well. They're towering over me, and I'm thinking they haven't even they're not even 18 yet, and they're already bigger than me. They're monsters.
The Matt Academy lad's a big lad.
Yeah.
Middleweight.
Yeah, Deacon Thomas.
Yeah.
I fought his dad.
Yeah,
his dad's my. I thought his dad was my opponent when we both made our debuts against each other. And now
that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure I grab his dad out in Rome and get him in the cage and do some face-off photos.
Is his dad going to Rome? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, Gav.
Yeah, it's mad now because we're at the age in MMA where years ago your dad was never an MMA fighter because he was too young a sport.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the point where it's a family affair.
Back in the day, it'd be like, oh yeah, my dad did martial arts, yeah, yellow belt, Aikido.
Yeah, they would have specific martial arts. Yeah, exactly. So it's good. It's good that MMA is getting to that point where it can be a family affair as well. But again, like the IMAFs are.
Before I went out to Rome last time for the seniors, I mean, I emceed Meltdown Fighting Championships in Bristol, and like Paul Sutherland's kid.
Yeah,
I think he's like 9.
Yeah.
I went up to him and was like, you got a nickname? The Sniper. No hesitation. The Sniper. I can see why. And the guy was slick as they come, and then
took his back, didn't he?
Oh yeah, but Paul Sutherland put a video up of one of his old fights, but like on Layer Day on his son's fight, and it's exactly the same. Like the way you went with the leg kick, got the takedown, took the back, and got the choke is amazing.
Yeah, it shows you how it's evolving over. People getting trained by the fathers and stuff now as well. But that's good. What do you think of? Because we haven't spoken to you about it because I haven't seen it. What do you actually think of the rule sets for the different ages for the cadets? Because I know it changes from age to age. I think the youngest you can be is 12, am I right?
Yeah, the age groups are there's 12 and 13, 14 and 15, and 16 and 17. And
start with 12 to 13. It's 1 round?
It's 1 round, yeah. I think 4 minutes long.
4-minute round, yeah.
And I don't think there's strikes standing up, but there's no strikes to the body on the floor.
There's nothing on the floor, is there?
Just grappling. It's just if it's a deck, it's just grappling. If it's stood up, it's just punching a kick into the body, and it's different. I haven't really looked into the rules in depth, but as they get older, the rule sets allow you more freedom. Like in the 16 and 17-year-old, you've got a level of ground and pound as well.
Yeah,
but to the body.
There's absolutely no strikes to the head at any age, is there?
No. Which, I mean, it's still an ongoing process. That might change in the future. I know, like, Danny Court, who is president of the Northern Irish Federation, he's trialling his own rule set with, like a point karate system while it's stood up, and then grappling as it is on the floor.
I think if the gloves are all right, and like I know Mark Goddard has put a bit of time into like making them designed so the fingers are bent, so whenever you throw a punch, even if your hands ain't closed, you're not putting a finger in the eye because they'll be facing down.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually extend your hand out with the IMF gloves, can you?
No.
That. So I think with that in place, and if people are clenching their fist, the 16 and 17-year-olds is a kickboxing fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So on the feet, on the floor, take the ground pound. Because I know, like, at 16 and 17, there's 3 2-minute rounds.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the juniors and the seniors are free freeze.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's ground and pound and stuff. So, wouldn't we be saying it's fair for the 16 and 17-year-olds to hit to the head while standing, but then to the body whilst on the floor, as long as the equipment is all right?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's an ongoing, like, with MMA, if there's one thing we learned from MMA, especially after attending Mark Goddard's official seminar, the sport is always evolving, the rules are always changing, and that's not at kids level, that's at adults level. So it's the kids that will be changing over the course of the years. At the end of the day, this is just partly a trial run.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a legitimate world championships, definitely, but the first ever, and they will look at it and assess it, because that's the sport of MMA. MMA, I mean, has always been about evolution. Obviously, we had the squad training at your event in your cage. Some of them, it was their first chance to get inside the cage. So, like, on behalf of the cadets, thanks for letting them do that. They got a lot out of it, and they got to train with Brett, and some of them were starstruck to see to Brett. So then,
I think Brett's a really good person for them as well, because the style that he brings.
That was at your show. Tell us a bit more about your show. I mean, we've got to talk about the main event first of all.
Yeah. The main event I only saw half of. Even though I was in the corner, we had a bit of a situation where a staff member was having a seizure. So we were lucky to keep our fight going because of what happened, but it was fine in the end.
Yeah.
So I actually missed the better half of the fight, if you like, the infamous third round.
Yeah.
Until our man Nathan edited the clips, and then I could watch it. But I mean, it was there's so many good bantamweights in Wales.
Yeah.
It's nice to actually see two of them go at it, innit?
Bantamweight is probably traditionally Wales' strongest division.
Especially the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two UFC bantamweight fighters in Wales.
Yep.
Now with Jack Shaw and Brett, you've got Brave bantamweight. You've got loads anyway. But these two guys, I mean, I think the difference, like Rory, as we all know, he was on the back of 3 losses, right?
Yeah.
Bear in mind, he went 10-0 as an amateur and then won his pro debut.
Yeah.
It was unusual to sort of. It was not. We didn't expect him to lose 3 in a row. We don't expect anyone that could lose 3 in a row.
But then again,
but it did happen.
He never took an easy fight.
No, and he won't.
That's it. That's the type of guy he is.
Yeah.
And you always said you'd rather someone lose lots in hard fights than win lots of easy fights.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I don't think the sport is where it was 10, 15 years ago, where you could get away with winning easy fights and progress. Like before, if you had easy opponents, people weren't educated as much. You know, it was like people didn't know that they were having easy fights. They just knew they were having fights.
Yeah.
But now people were educated. Like padding records. I mean, You see fighters still trying to do it these days, but they're not getting anywhere, are they?
No, I said they will get exposed eventually.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
it's not like boxing as well. Like with boxing, you get lots of people who pad their records, get 20 wins, then they get like a big money fight against a decent guy who wants to beat someone with a good record, and then they'll retire on that money. It's not like that. I mean,
yeah, but even then, it's sort of, you ask yourself, does it make sense to do that anymore?
No,
I mean,
exactly.
Like the answer is, look at the record on the world #1 pound for pound boxing champion at the minute, Lomachenko. Is he still #1?
Yeah.
You know, he went straight into the deep end, but he did have 200 odd amateur fights. But when he turned pro, he went straight in and fought good opponents, right?
Yeah.
And how many fights has he had? Pro, it's not many, is it?
I think 12.
Yeah, 12.
I think his second fight was for a world title.
Yeah. So, you know, why have them 20 fights fighting nobody's then? What's the point? That's the question, right? If you're at a level, you're at a level. And if you've done the amateur thing, you've done the amateur thing. But anyway, Rory lost 3 fights in a row. That's what we're going to do. So he kind of had everything to lose. I mean, look at the 3 guys he lost to were really good, but he needed a win. In his head, he desperately needed a win. And that's what we were coming for. But, as I say, Jason's a tricky opponent. But I do feel like he fought like he didn't have any. Jason was the best Jason I've seen.
Yeah.
He fought like he had nothing to lose. But Rory was cagey, and I think that's what made the fight in a way. I mean, the difference in attitudes, because Jason didn't give a monkeys, did he? He just threw whatever he could at him.
And he did. I mean, in our third round, we saw a flying scissor takedown, done successfully, where I failed miserably 8 years ago against Gavin Thomas. It was a missile drop kick to the feet, but Jason did the move justice. So
yeah, and landed in a good position, but obviously couldn't.
And a Minari roll, that was incredible. A bunch of spinning back
multiple
elbows.
spinning back fists and elbows.
But like Rory as well, I mean, he was the clear winner, but it was just such a good fight. Like, I mean, the scores doesn't really do it justice to how close the fight was and how good the atmosphere was. You know what I mean? It's you know, like 2 judges had Rory 30-27, and that was fair. But if it was 29-28, it would have been still fair. You know,
and like it doesn't mean just because you won 30-27 doesn't mean they were 3 good rounds.
Yeah,
just because they all went one way, they could have just gone all one way. Do you know what I mean?
Jason was always dangerous, and the hour and his moments, and I'd love to see that fight again and again. And, you know what I mean?
That was great. But as I say, we're glad that Rory got a win, but also Jason was glad that he was in that fight. So it was great. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I think Jason done himself a lot of. It wasn't really a loser. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
You know, like James Lilly, who always says like, I don't care if I win or lose, I just want a war.
Yeah.
More often than not, like very rarely, James will get that war because he's either he's quite a clinical boxer when it comes to his bare knuckle. He's a class above a lot of his opponents because they come from MMA backgrounds and Lilly's a good boxer, you know. But Jason had that war. I bet if Lilly see that, I'd be jealous. Like,
yeah, oh definitely, it was good fun, and it was good to see Rory was back at the gym Monday.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, and I think like what people don't realise is it's been a long road for Rory. Not just them 3 losses. He's had a knee operation. He's changed jobs twice. I mean, and all these things make a big difference to Rory because it's how you having your job. Your job dictates when you can train. Yeah. So he changed his job twice, had a knee op, had to go through all that, not knowing where to go, and then having the 3 losses, and now we're getting the win. The fact he was back in the gym showed what he wanted, you know. And he was in the gym Monday, he was in the gym Tuesday because he was going away Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. I was like, well, you could have just gone away, had 4 days off, it's no problem. But it was his attitude as he's back, you know. So I think like what I actually messaged him, when he was away after the 3rd round, after I saw the 3rd round because I hadn't seen it on the night, and said that was better. Yeah. Because all the things that he didn't do in the 1st round, he was a bit cagey. I felt like the head movement and the footwork, it was more relaxed in the 3rd. So I think the next time we see Rory fight is going to be where we need him. You know what I mean? Yeah. and where we want to see him. So
I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. I suggested a few opponents.
yeah, we have talked about that.
For opponents, throw names I threw at you because I'm just a psycho matchmaker. I just want to see people fight each other.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to fight again before he fights on my show.
Oh, nice.
So obviously, maybe later in this week we'll know more about that. But I think there's definitely a chance he's going to get another bout. Well, I think he's going to have 2 MMA fights this year. Still,
that's the way. Be good to see him back. What else do we have on the card?
Well, we had the co-main event was a K1 title. It was Jared who we had on the show week before last with Rory, fighting Luke Wallis from Celtic Pride. Now Luke is the classic Thai style. He's tall, he's strong. Jared's in your face from non-stop. I mean, one thing he does do is train hard. Do you know what I mean? So his fitness has gone through the roof. It was a great fight because obviously from a crowd perspective they didn't stop hitting each other. It was Jared's in your face all the time. But
yeah.
I do wish he put his hands up a bit. But as I say, he doesn't mind getting it once or twice. And he is quite tricky to hit the head. But it was a great title fight.
Went the distance, isn't it?
Yeah, went the distance. Even though Luke went down, he come back and then got stronger, which was good.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was because it was 12 fights in the card. Should have been 13, but one got cancelled on the day. But it seemed to me it was a bit of a dream card in that the fights got better throughout the night.
Yeah.
Because before you had that fight, you had Brian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it just seemed like the 10-year-olds had a 10-year-old fight, like Big Tasty versus Wild Will. And they just went at it. And then the 2 17-year-olds went at it, and then had the boxing. And that was like technically on paper a mismatch, but
yeah.
I don't know if you knew, but I was like, Dan Taylor was 6-1.
Yeah.
Jack Evans, first timer. Jack was 18 on Friday, just gone. So 6 days before the show. So I couldn't match him with an adult. I had to match him with someone his age. So he had to fight someone that had 7 fights. This weekend, he could fight the first time at any age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was quite good because Jack's decent. Right?
Yeah.
So it was quite good. But then I just feel like the fights got better. And then like we got to Jared's fight and it was like they threw everything at it. And then we went to Jason's fight. Jason and Road, and I was like, fuck, they just keep to the top themselves in each fight, and it doesn't normally happen, does it? I mean, I put fights on with like, you've had 10 amateur fights, who've been great.
Yeah.
6 pro fights, all over in a minute. Do you know what I mean? And you don't know if it's going to go that way. I mean, there was so many times in Rory and Jason's fight it could have ended.
Yeah.
But it didn't. So I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It was a really good show that way, and you couldn't write that. You didn't know which way it's going to go, do you?
No, in terms of quality of fights, it was every fight seemed to be well matched, and it delivered. It really did.
Which is all you can ask for, really. I mean, like if match them fair, and one it is going to work out right most of the time, isn't it? But it was great.
It's good to see Dangerous Brian, former guest of the show.
Dangerous.
Back in business.
Yes, I missed that fight. I as I say, it was 3 fights in the night at Ding Corner. I missed that.
His opponent, Casper from Dave's. I say Dave's gym. It's Dave Matthews' gym.
Yeah, yes.
Lions Den LD Fighters down in Exmouth. Now, no matter where Dave goes, and he takes his crew of lads and ladies with him, you know you're always going to get a tough fight, no matter what.
Yeah.
And Brian did.
Yeah.
And it was a tough fight. He did enough to win convincingly in the end, and decision. But a type of fight like that is a type of fight that will serve you well down the line. You know, he answered a lot of questions about himself.
Yeah.
He's back. Can he go the 3 rounds? Can he go all 3 rounds after a long layoff? He did. His fitness wasn't a problem. Yeah.
It's great. I mean, that's what, again, Dave is one of them gyms where they will take fights.
Oh, they'll fight anyone.
They will put it before. I've never seen them get walked over. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And like everyone gets walked over every now and again. But I haven't seen that. What was with Dave? Like the funny thing is, they'd always fight ready.
Yeah.
So if I asked him 10 weeks out, if we've got anything for these, I'll get back to you. 8 weeks out, for these, I'll get back to you. 6 weeks out, 2 weeks out, yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, you can't complain about that, but I just wish he'd give me all of his guys at the beginning, because I know when everyone's having a war.
Yeah.
If you just give me, these are who I've got, and then all the Welsh lads are having a war against them.
Yeah.
But he does it that way, which serves us well at the end of the card. But at the same time, I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't want to get his fighters into that fight camp mentality.
And I think they straight out one fight into another. I think that's why.
Yeah.
If you match them 8 weeks out, it's a bit difficult to say, you got one in the middle of that camp. Do you know what I mean?
Because that Casper, he fought not so long ago on that Meltdown in Bristol.
Yeah.
And that was a tough fight as well that night. And the guy's a warrior, like, so I guess... Like, I think a problem with MMA, we spoke about it on the phone earlier.
Yeah.
Too many amateur fighters think like pros. Oh, I got a 12-week camp.
Yeah.
Rather than being ready all the time back in the gym. Do you know what I mean?
And not understand it. I've got 12 weeks now to my fight, or even 8 weeks. And it's like, you're an amateur. You shouldn't need any time. You should be in the gym all the time. But if you do a full 10-week camp for an amateur fight and you lose, what are you going to do? And have a couple of weeks off and do another 10-week camp? So you're fighting once every 6 months. You're going to sulk about it. I mean, well, you could have had 5 fights. Do you know what I mean? It's just be ready all the time. Take the local fights, but in between, take the away fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. That's why like everyone from Lions Den, they always come to fight. So Brian's back in the game now, and he's sent an application to join the Welsh MMA team. Okay. We have room for a lightweight, obviously, with Scotty Too Hearty going pro soon. So
and Danny being out.
And Danny hopefully recovers from his injury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a strong division, lightweight. But as I say, Brian's a tough lad.
You got the right people around him as well, like being related to Brett Johns.
Helps you training.
Helps it.
Helps you train. I mean, the thing is, like, now we're on the subject of Brian. Obviously, Brian likes to strike. He told us that. What do you think on that style in the IMAFs?
Against them Russians?
Nightmare.
Yeah.
It is very much a wrestling-based event now, and we, as I say, as far as doing well.
Well, the guy who won the lightweight European Championships in Scotty's division, he won the Russian National Championships by, and he didn't like it. He's quoted saying, "I didn't like it because everybody wanted to wrestle, so I had to out-wrestle everybody. With IMAF, no one could touch my wrestling, so I could really let my hands go." And he was probably the most entertaining fighter the entire tournament. It's a shame Scotty never got to fight him in the end, because that would have been really good.
Because he was lighting people up, was he?
Oh yeah. And, like, I think it would have been perfect if he tried to strike with Scotty. It would have been really good. It would have been a different fight if he tried to grapple, because Scotty would have been on defensive more. But I would have loved to have seen that fight. But anyway, come back to the second part of the show. Welcome to part 2 of the MMA Wales podcast. Before we went to the break, we were talking about Scotty and how he did in the IMAS with the Russian, and how Brian would do.
Yeah.
With
I mean, it's interesting because obviously it's been the talk in the UFC, the wrestling. Obviously, we've had Khabib versus Conor, right? Yeah. I obviously Khabib beat him convincingly. I personally think Conor can beat Khabib. And so can any striker, realistically. Yeah. But it's going to take that high level of striking and defence of takedowns to get the shots off. Maybe a lot of footwork.
What people don't realise is, right, wrestling isn't about taking people down. One of the best wrestlers, most underrated wrestlers in the history of MMA was probably Chuck Liddell. Because his wrestling was good enough to keep him up standing. And if you went down, he was a hard person to keep down, got straight back up, could let his hands fly. But no one ever talks about Chuck Liddell, the wrestler, because he was a striker.
Knocking people out, yeah.
But then people got to...
What I'm saying, you've got this now going through to the IMAFs, where you've got the Russians wrestling everyone else.
Yeah.
The rounded people.
Except for Ian McKenzie.
Yeah. But at what point does the level get up so high that the wrestling is getting...
Nullified.
at that level.
Yeah.
When I mean, because it's always, as they say, better to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
But at the moment, the Russian wrestlers and the amateurs are having a lot of success. It's like I always say, jiu-jitsu guys in Britain have really good success in their first few MMA fights.
Yeah.
Then they've got to build up their skills, because street fights always end up on the floor.
Yeah.
So your first couple of MMA fights, when you're a bit shaky and a bit nervous, they end up on the floor, right? But then when people relax a bit after a few fights, they can take, depending on who takedowns, it gets more even. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then at what point do these wrestlers come in and try to hit people down? At what level do they have to be well-rounded? Do you know what I mean? Like the Khabibs, they're there now, but then sooner or later, I think people are going to get how to beat them easier.
Well, look at Ronda Rousey for an example.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Like, she everyone talks about her. She's a good judo girl now, but the moment that
Someone didn't care.
she lost to Holly Holm, I said Misha Tate will beat Holly Holm, because what the difference was,
Well-rounded.
yeah, not just that, but all of Ronda Rousey's takedowns were from the clinch, like judo takedowns.
Yeah.
She as good as a wrestler she was, she didn't have a double leg.
Yeah, no.
So she couldn't shoot in, but Misha Tate shot in on Holly Holm, got the finish, whereas Ronda couldn't get close because she was always upright and she had her head down stuff. That's the beauty of MMA. Like,
I think with Ronda as well, the women's MMA was at a point where there was only her that was pulling the numbers.
Yeah.
And they were going from just about getting on the undercard to a main event on a massive card fighting Ronda.
Yeah.
So they were walking out from empty arenas to at the main event, right? So then by the time they had time to think about it, she was already on top of them, grabbing them and throwing them.
Yeah.
So I just think that they were just rabbits in the headlights.
Yeah.
From that point of view.
Whereas I guess Holly Holm, she was a former boxing world champion.
Exactly, she's been there, done it.
Kickboxing world champion. Yeah. Hey, Ronda's bounced back. I know she's now the WWE Women's Champion, so congratulations to her, you know.
She's making money.
Making money. So this weekend coming up, John Phillips is promoting Contenders Fight Night in Carmarthen Showground. It's his first event. He used to promote shows back in the day, Predator Fight Nights. Always a great night.
How long ago was that now? 10, 12?
9 years, 10 years ago.
Gotta be 10. Gotta be.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think I did one of them, but they started before I even started MCing, so...
Yeah, they used to be on a Sunday evening. I mean, like, obviously, before that, he would have shows there as well, House of Pain. But, as I say, it was a long time ago and a lot of things have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, so now he's back, and he's putting on some shows. Got some decent names on the card. Stu Tyree making his comeback after he fought on your show last time.
Yeah.
It's always good to see Stu back, and hopefully Stu will look really good.
Yeah, do you know anything about the guy he's fighting?
I think he's Italian. I'm not sure whether they're flying him in. I have checked his record out on your Tapology. Seems like a pretty even fight, which is what you want, really. You don't want to see Stu blast someone away.
No, absolutely not. Emmanuel Camarata doesn't sound British. Yeah, so look, obviously Tight still gets the win. Who else?
The fight, I was originally meant to be emceeing it until IMAF booked me, but the fight I was looking forward to most was one of the amateur fights, Owen Williams versus Ricky George.
Yeah.
They both really hungry. They both want to. They're the kind of kids who always want to be active, who always want to fight, and they just fight anyone. And it seems like a perfect fight for each of them.
Flyweight fight as well.
Yeah, and I trained with Owen a couple of weeks ago. The guy's dedicated, like he's a slick guy as well, and Ricky George, he's got a bit of a story, hasn't he? Like he fought on your show as a bit of a journeyman sort of thing.
Yeah, and then he started training. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
He started training with Dino, and
he's very athletic. He was a
backing dancer for Michael Jackson or something.
He did a lot of, I don't know if he'll be that old. But yeah, he's a very good dancer, so the athleticism's there, and I know he's put all it into MMA now, and he's very hungry, so it's good to see him training properly. As I say, a lot of them don't, but he is. That's an interesting fight, that. I like that fight.
That's as I said, to me, it's the fight that stands out the most.
Oh, obviously we can't forget Curtis Dodge's fighting.
Oh yeah, of course, Curtis.
We're supposed to have Curtis on, but he was ill.
Curtis being Commonwealth Games, did he win a medal?
Yeah.
Commonwealth Games medalist in the discipline of wrestling.
Yeah.
He had an MMA fight years ago.
He fought on my show and had the win against Mickey Miller, who's doing quite well now. Yeah, really make a choke pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, even then you could tell once he grabs hold of it, he's a Khabib, you know.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Hopefully, is someone with that wrestling pedigree. It's good to see him in MMA.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see. Hopefully it's not going to be a one and done. Hopefully he'll be an active guy, and
I hope so. I mean, he needs to have a few in a row. So really, I'd like to see him represent our country in the IMAFs.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So, to hammer a few wins home and then put the Russians to test in the wrestling.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, what other pro fights are on John's show, you know?
Have you got him up on your laptop?
I get John up now.
I know one pro fight. You've got Brad Evans versus Rhys Street. Brad Evans is usually the opponent most of the time. You know, he's there, takes last minute fights, and he gives his best, but he often comes up short. But now he's going to be fighting the home corner against Rhys Street. Yeah. Rhys has had over 50 fights, mostly defeats, but when he wants to, he can turn it on.
Yeah.
And I think Brad needs a win, and I think he'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Brian Evans has took a fight on over us.
Is he? Oh, wicked.
Yeah. They were talking about that the other day. I can't find a lineup. Hold on.
But anyway, that's contenders down in Kamal Showground.
I will contact any of the fighters because I don't know if there's an online ticket thing. But yeah, contact John or any of the fighters. I think they've got quite a few fights on from what I know. Dino's been helping with the fight card. Dino Gamatesh, and he's always 18 bouts, I think. 18
bouts, fair play. You get your money's worth.
Trying to match a couple more for him, but as I say, it's a big card. It's a big venue, so I can pull it off. Yeah, I haven't been there myself, but you heard.
Well, that's where you fought in Carmarthen Showground, didn't you?
Yeah.
The War of 04.
But yeah, so that's what's happening this weekend. Obviously, we got the connection in Rome, but is anything else happening in Wales? So
yeah, well, we should touch upon Aidan James.
Yes.
Got handed his first loss on Thursday night on Brave. I've gutted to see how that fight panned out.
Yeah.
I know Aidan, we've had him on the show plenty of times. He's probably one of the most dedicated guys to his craft.
Yeah.
And it really hurt watching that.
I mean, it goes to show you're always at risk in an MMA fight.
Yeah.
They very much knew about the power of Cameron Else's right hand. And he just put his head to the floor and threw it, didn't he?
Yeah.
To be fair, he made a miss and he hit, you know. So it was a big overhand right, and it caught Aidan clean. Very early in the fight as well, when you sort of warming up, and you've got your full power, you know.
Yeah.
That was it. Had less than a minute into the fight, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was. But you know, Aidan, I mean, if he hasn't got any concussion or anything like that, he'll be back in the gym as soon as he can. The guy, as I said earlier, one of the most dedicated guys to MMA. And when he wrote a spiel the next day on his Facebook, and I thought, fair play.
Yeah, it was good.
That was he basically said that one of the reasons he fell in love with MMA is because of the flash knockouts. Sometimes
our fight can end so quick.
Our fight can end quick, and he knew that one day it would happen to him, and it hasn't deterred him. he's not gonna let it get better of him. Nah, he need to be back in the gym and he need to be back in that cage. I mean, he's done enough on Brave so far to keep getting ass backed, you know.
Yeah, he's beating good people, isn't he? So
I mean, I reckon they probably match him against James Brum. Next, James Brum also fought on Brave the other day and lost a decision.
Did he?
And
I was away Thursday, so I was in 10B. So when you're in 10B, you're dead to the world sometimes with signals. So I didn't have a chance to watch the card live, which I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I've only seen Aiden's fight.
I was gonna try and get us all press passes, but I forgot. I didn't forget. I present a radio show now and run the radio on a Thursday, and
you didn't care for the rest of us.
It's like, here you go without me.
But
no, it was
James Brum as well. That'll be interesting because he had a bit of time out after our friend the Little Buggy beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, Brett.
Brett beat him in Swansea LC2 and Cage Warriors, and we haven't seen him since.
The thing is with James Brum, he's had a lot go on. And he's moved to Thailand, and he won a scholarship with Tiger Muay Thai as well, and he had some tragedy in his personal life, but it was good to see him back. And we obviously know James Brum. He's fought Martin McDonough, Chris Edwards, and Brett, so he's no stranger to Welsh fighters. So I think Aiden versus Brum, I think that was a natural fight to make on upcoming Brave. If you
depends what it is though. I mean, this is the first London card they've done. I mean, if it's back in the Middle East, they're not going to bother putting an English guy and a Welsh guy together, are they?
Oh, they put anyone on. It's not as if they're skint, is it? You know.
No. But yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we see Aiden back soon. His attitude seems brilliant towards what's happened, and
there's always a question mark of how someone's going to handle their first loss, and that thing he wrote on Facebook, I was just like, what a warrior.
I don't think it was the loss. I think he's lost MMA fights in the amateur scene, and he knows what it's like to bounce back.
Yeah.
But again, wiped out like that. That's the difference. I mean, getting knocked out, there's a difference between losing and getting knocked out, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, obviously, his injuries hopefully are smaller than what they could be.
Yeah.
And he'll be back soon.
That's it.
Anything else you want to touch on, Rick?
Oh, well...
you haven't been yet, so...
Yeah, I haven't been yet. So, well, may as well talk about the last time I show.
Yeah, I mean, we have spoken about that, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I had fun anyway.
Yeah, good. I mean, it was, as I say, a lot of good people come through. A lot of people done well, like Jack Tucker, Alex Gill,
Ian
McKenzie. I mean, how many of them do you think will be in the team? I know Jack's not and Scotty's not.
Yeah, they got plans of turning pro, so they won't. But Alex Gill, I mean, he was, when we invited him onto the team, it was a bit of like a wild card because he was from Mid Wales. We didn't really know much about him. I'd seen him on your show.
Yeah, he looked good on training,
and he did look really good. And we didn't really know where that's all we know. That's all we knew about him.
Yeah.
But the guy excelled. I mean, he won 2 of his fights. Really, and then he ended up fighting like the eventual gold medalist, and he didn't even tap. He just went to sleep. I laugh now, right, because he told me the story after his fight. He's like, "Oh, I've been chopped, yeah. I may as well just go out now. Be a warrior, like." And then next thing you know, I woke up. He said, I could see him. I was right next to the kid, so I seen this all unfold. He's like, so yeah, when am I fight dinner? He dreamt that he was only now arriving in Rome, but he hadn't fought yet. And then he saw Doctor.
Woke up in the cage. When's my turn?
He saw Dr. Saf over him, like asking him where he was, and he was like, "Oh, I know you from medicals in Swansea, right?" And then it was quite comical. Like after we found out he was all right, it was quite funny. Then we're talking about it, like, but he's a good boy.
He's a bit of a character, isn't he?
Oh, mental.
I think when you have people, you need characters like that as well on a trip.
Like Glenn was an absolute like legend out in out in Rome. You know, he was a big motivator to the rest of the team and a cheerleader. I mean,
he knows how to tour. He's a rugby boy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. He said he described it it's like a rugby tour, but with the alcohol.
Yeah.
And I like this. He wrote about it. He said, described Yaya Mackenzie as the most boring 18-year-old he's ever met. And Yaya Mackenzie, like, such a lovely kid, and the guy's like, I wouldn't say he's boring. I'd just say he's dedicated, and I think he'll go a long way in the sport. He's so young and he's so skillful already. And when he beat that Russian kid, he cracked me up when he said, "Oh, I've just had a draw with my first opponent. I'm fighting the alphabet."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, he just won the internet that day." And then he ended up out wrestling the Russian, and it was a good vibe.
Is he going to try and get the Worlds?
I think so. Yeah, he's taken a couple of fights before going out.
He's fighting Dean Hart in Swindon. I know that.
So we see. We need to when I'm out in Rome next week, have a chat with Chris and see what's the plan going into the Worlds. Mm-hmm. See what how we're gonna do it. Are we gonna trial? Where we probably will trial people and stuff. We have announced that we will be on trials, and people have been sending their applications. That's just to see how many we got. You know, it'll be different on the day. Yeah. So anyway,
I think that's it.
Should we wrap things up? So anyway, thanks for tuning in to episode 38 of the 38. That's how many we've done. 38 of the MMA Wales podcast.
Done 5 without you.
5 without me. Damn. You know.
3, I think.
Got to win my bread, you know. And so thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll be coming back home with some medals from the Welsh MMA Wales MMA Cymru Cadet teams. A few gold medalists, get them around the table, get 10 kids in here. Yes,
so if any of the juniors do well, we'll get them in. Not before, but after, definitely. Because you can't have them all here. But as I say, we're looking forward to seeing the results and how the first cadet tournament went for, again, the movement of next year and the progression.
And myself and, of course, MMA Wales' Nathan Davis will be out there as well, taking photos. Try and pin him down for an impromptu podcast out in Rome, poolside.
Keep saying that, but you're on a party. Anyway.
Right, so thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later. Bye.